Hello there.
Welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. Today we're going to cover the Clone Wars, Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6. I think these two are one of Evan's favorites. Or
Yeah,
at least the first one, at least 5.
Well, 5 through 8 really is one of my more favorite arcs within the Clone Wars
Okay.
show, because it's going back to Geonosis and dealing with all that kind of stuff, as we'll cover in the episodes. So which is nice, just because obviously, as we know in the second movie, we just get a little bit of like fighting on Geonosis, and it's mainly from the viewpoint of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And this way we get a little more of the clone action on Geonosis. So, And also I like this series because oftentimes, except for I think like the couple of different like Ryloth episodes throughout the Clone Wars, we don't really see planets being revisited during the war. Which kind of leaves like this, like, oh, they captured this planet, so it's just theirs and that's that. But in truth, planets, just like in any other war, land is gained and lost back and forth until the war finally concludes. So that's another reason I really like this arc. It kind of highlights that a little bit. So
yeah. But if you are listening to this as it comes out, currently the Andor series is running. First 3 episodes are out as of now.
They came out yesterday, correct? As of what we're recording?
Wednesday. Technically Tuesday maybe, but Wednesday. So 2 days ago from the recording date here. So if you're listening to this, well, you know what? I don't even know when I'll release this, so I can't even say how many would be out at the time that you're listening to this, because that could vary widely, but if you're listening to it as it comes out, I don't know. That was a string of nonsense, but anyway, so the episode 5 is titled "Landing at Point Rain."
Yeah. Our little description via Disney Plus just simply reads: Anakin, Ahsoka, and Ki Adi Mundi seek to destroy a droid facility.
Yep. The quote we get, Evan, you want to read it? I don't know if I usually read those or what, but
I got it.
Go ahead.
Gotcha. 1 second, it's got to come up. There it is. Took a second to get there. Sorry. It says, "Believe in yourself, or no one else will."
Yep.
And we did do a cover of this episode before, but did not get the second episode covered, so we couldn't send an episode out covering it.
Yeah. So, in other words, when I fail to remember what's happening in this episode, I have seen it a total of probably 4 times.
Yeah.
And so, I will probably still forget, but then that's even further on me. So, not that it would be on anybody else anyway, but,
But I remember mentioning probably a couple different times, last time we covered this, many moons ago. One of my favorite parts about this episode in general is, and I'm sure I'll say it again throughout our coverage, is the rise and fall of this episode. And I'll point that out more specifically as we go through, but that's one of my more favorite parts right before we get started. And then you've got the narration intro, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, it says, "Counterattack. With the clone army stretched in desperate attempt to engage General Grievous's Starfleet, separatist planet that were once thought secure are now rising up against the Republic. On Geonosis, separatist I blended the 2 words. Separatist leader Poggle the Lesser, safe in his newly ray-shielded factories, creates thousands of terrible new weapons which march off an assembly line against the outnumbered clone army. The Jedi, resolute in their effort to restore order to the Republic, mount a massive invasion and retake Geonosis and shut down Poggle's factories of terror once and for all."
So, with you reading that off and hitting the point with the battle droids being created, it reminded me of this TikTok I had seen with someone else covering Star Wars stuff. And for some reason, it reminded me of that TikTok, and it was talking about the different blaster bolt colors from the different like weapons and stuff, because we see droids using, when they shoot, it's red blaster bolts. Clones are using blue. Mandalorians and whatnot that we see typically have like green, you know. And it just reminded me of that. I think just because like the Separatists, like, you know, they just shove out droid after droid after droid so fast because they're, you know, cheap and very easy to make and whatnot.
Yeah.
And this guy was talking about, I can't remember what his name was, unfortunately, but he was talking about how like the red blaster bolts within the Star Wars universe are made from a certain material that's very cheap, very easy to like mine and then send off to put in their blasters and whatnot. And in red blaster bolts actually are better against organic material. Whereas like with the clones using blue, it is a little more expensive, not much more, but it's better against it's more suited for against mechanical things. So like battle droids, you know. And I think just because you were mentioning with the intro of Poggle the Lesser sending new war machines out, you know, out to fight, just kind of reminded me of that, and I thought it was a cool little tidbit to add in there as well. Just again showing that the Separatists are very cheap.
Yeah. Well, they don't have as much backing as the entire Galactic Republic, you know.
Well,
I mean, as far as like money wise, you know, you've got an entire government versus like this like side, well, separatist, you know.
Right.
It's like
well,
they've got their government, but I'm
yeah.
just saying the difference in funding and available money is probably maybe a little bit less.
I think I would argue that they might have more.
Really?
Because they've got the banking clan and
that's true.
And the Techno Union and all those, which were like your essentially your banks, your money loaners and whatnot like that. So like they, before the Clone Wars all kicks off, like they're the people that like they I'm drawing a blank on the word, but they basically control trade and whatnot to different planets and stuff on like larger scales. So the Separatists might, I'm not sure honestly, but they might just have like more funding overall, which is why you see so many more battle droids in battles than you do clone troopers, as well as the fact it takes, you know, clone troopers like 9 years for one clone trooper to be able to go off to war.
Yeah.
But
well, maybe I guess
Well,
because just initial thoughts, but I mean,
there's some battles within the Clone Wars where we don't really get to see it in the TV show, but you see it in some of the different books and comics and stuff, where it's like for every one clone trooper there's like 100 battle droids, you know, but it's because the clone troopers have their training and whatnot that they prevail. But anyways, that's sidetracking on a whole other thing to the episode.
Yeah, well, no, that's fine. So
yeah,
we open our scene though with Ki Adi Mundi and Obi-Wan talking. Anakin and Ahsoka approach and talk of who got more kills between their groups. Something we had mentioned in that unaired recording is like they kind of already are doing this whole Legolas and Gimli thing.
And granted, it's because of the way that they did the Clone Wars in terms of episodes and whatnot. We really don't know how long after episode 2 this episode takes place. I'm sure we could go on like Wikipedia or something like that and get a more accurate, you know, time frame for it. And we do know this is very early in the war. Obviously, it's season 2, you know. But it's just like very quickly, Anakin, I would say more so Anakin than Ahsoka, turns this war into a game.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka's just kind of there for the ride, and she just kind of picks up on it. Whereas, like, especially like in this opening scene with Ki Adi Mundi and Obi-Wan, they're talking about like, I think Obi-Wan makes a comment of like, I wish I'd never have to come back here again, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So like Ki Adi Mundi and Obi-Wan are like, no, we're at war. This is serious. Like, we feel the loss of life here. This is a terrible thing. Anakin and Ahsoka are like, we're having fun. This is great. Let's have a blast.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Well, oh, nice. But they form a plan of attack on Geonosis, and they aim to capture Poggle.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan and his group load up and take off on in the gunships approaching the Geonosians.
Yeah. So, real quick before we continue on, basically their planning here is to do a 3-pronged attack on a landing point to push to the droid factories on Geonosis, with Ki Adi Mundi, Obi-Wan, and then Anakin and Ahsoka each respectively leading their own force of clones. And as we will see very quickly in this episode, things do not really go according to plan. And again, that landing point they're landing at is Point Rain, hence the name of the title, or the title of the episode. And in my opinion, we definitely get that feeling of like they don't expect as much resistance as they're going to run into.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like yeah, they've got this plan and whatnot, and a common saying in wartime is any plan fails on first contact.
Mm.
So as soon as bullets start flying, or in this case, blaster bolts start flying, any plan just kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
They really don't take that to heart in this instance. They're like, yeah, we'll just land here, push the droid factory, take it out, and we're good. And like I said, as we see very early on in this episode, it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah. But as they're flying off and launching their, plan and doing it, they do take on some fire, and many of the ships are hit. We see a group of clones in one of them that says, "Good thing those bugs can't aim," and then they get hit and blow up.
Yeah.
But overall, they take a lot of damage, and Anakin's ship crashes. There's quite a bit of action to start off.
Really, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 of the Jedi generals taking part in this initial invasion, all 3 of their gunships go down.
Yeah, they do.
And I
was kind of going through it as I was watching it, and so first was Anakin's, but and then Ki Adi's ship gets hit, and then eventually so does Obi-Wan's, which I don't remember if we saw Obi-Wan's actually go down, but we did. I mean, his did crash, and we learned that.
Yeah, I think we do hear it over like radio chatter. We kind of hear. I think we hear Obi-Wan over the radio. I think probably through Rex's radio. We hear him say, "We're hit, we're going down," and kind of statics out. But Anakin's really the only one to walk away from those crashes unscathed, really, out of the 3 generals. Like, yes, Ahsoka does as well, but I'm, Jedi generals here. Ahsoka, sorry, dude, but you're kind of off to the side real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Ki Adi Mundi is a little hurt. We do see him like holding his side as he gets out of his ship, but Obi-Wan gets real messed up. I mean, granted, they can't really show it that well because it's more of a kid's show, but like they show it in different ways throughout the episode. How hurt Obi-Wan really gets.
Yeah. We learn that Obi-Wan, his ship went down. And actually, I think it did show it a little bit.
Sorry, real quick. I just
maybe
noticed
chatter, like you said, but
I just noticed something real quick. When Anakin's gunship goes down, and then it cuts to him, and they're like, Anakin's like, "Come on, we gotta get out. We gotta keep moving forward." Anakin just lifts the door of the gunship off of the gunship and throws it, not using the Force, like just with his arms. And like that has got to be like pure steel, or something very close to. Like, dear Lord, Anakin, you've been juicing over there or something. Like he just like both hands picks it up and just
Jeez.
I never realized that before.
Inconsistency. This show sucks. No.
You're telling me Anakin can do that, but in the battle on episode 3 with him versus Obi-Wan, he's sitting there struggling lightsaber to lightsaber with Obi-Wan. That's what you're telling me? He's not strong enough just to push Obi-Wan around? Come on now. Inconsistencies galore here.
But we cut to an overview of the wreckage, and we see that everyone is pretty broken up, hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anakin and Ahsoka and Rex start fighting off some Geonosians.
And we do see with them as
they're
well.
informed, really quick, they're informed of everyone, kind of how, the state of the others, and then they move forward.
But we do see as well, very quickly into the episode as well, that Anakin and Ahsoka go down nowhere close to where they were supposed to land.
Oh, yeah.
Because, as I kind of said before, the whole plan was all 3 forces land and then push to Point Rain. Well, as we see early in the episode, Anakin is talking to Ahsoka as they're going over their plan, and Ahsoka points out this wall, this fortress, whatever you want to call it, in this mountain pass, and Anakin states that, we're not going to be anywhere near that. And we see they end up pretty close to that.
Yeah.
This big old fortification that's been built. Again, just going towards the kind of the direness of the situation they're in, with all 3 Jedi generals being shot down, 2 of them being injured, 1 of them not even being close where they're supposed to be landing.
Yeah.
And as we get a more full picture of what's going on here, we do see as well there are a lot of clone troopers down, dead and injured, and we see a lot of gunships crashed down. We see some ATTEs that are destroyed, just kind of laying about the battlefield. And in several different shots, we see just random clone troopers leaned up against whatever destroyed gunship or ATTE or just a gunship that's been put in a certain position, what have you. Just, again, giving us this overall picture of not just this battle not going very well off the get-go, but, like, this battle going very badly very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely, if you're not looking for it, I can see it being very easy to miss. But it's like dead clone trooper galore.
Yeah. But we see a couple of Special Force clones push forward and try to find Obi-Wan. They do find him, and it's only him and another clone that are alive in the wreckage.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's beat up pretty hard.
Well, and those
we don't see
clones,
we don't see the full extent of it,
yeah,
as you mentioned. But he's definitely, you can tell that he's.
Well, and
he's
those 2 clones that go out for Obi-Wan, we do know who they are.
Is that a
them.
Waxer?
It's Waxer and Boyle.
Boyle, yeah.
So, and we saw them last season, I believe it was, in the Ryloth arc.
Yep, they were
with Obi-Wan and Cody, and the
and they were going through this,
to take out the gun emplacements,
right? And they were going throughout the city, and they're the one who found the little Twilight girl, who kept calling them Nara, or in her tongue was bitch.
No, it was brother. Come on now.
It was she was like bitch.
And I want to get to that point real quick, because I just want to double check. Okay, they're wearing different armor in this battle, because we do see, which I find a little strange now that I kind of look at it, and I can't believe I didn't really think of it before. Obi-Wan and Ki Adi Mundi's clones are wearing different armor from their normal armor.
Mm-hmm.
But Anakin's clones are still wearing the typical Phase 1 clone armor.
Oh.
Because Obi-Wan... So when we see Waxer and Boyle, they're wearing, like, Scout Trooper armor. They've got the visors there, a little bit of different helmet, like Phase 1 Scout Trooper armor. Ki Adi Mundi's clones are wearing armor similar to... Because Ki Adi Mundi leads I'm drawing a blank on their number, but they're the Galactic Marines. Is kind of like their name for their company or the battalion, whatever you want to call it. And so the Ki Adi Mundi's clones are wearing like kind of like an offshoot of their typical armor, their typical like their pink that they wear. Again, whereas Obi-Wan's, besides Cody, the rest of Obi-Wan's clones for the most part are wearing some variant, it looks like, of the Scout Trooper armor, which I find weird that Anakin's clones are not. Because, granted, Obi-Wan's troopers, the 212th is, I'm trying to think, they're not the Nova Corps. I think that's Aayla Secura's. But they are
they the Mama Corps?
No.
That creature on Trask or whatever it was, whatever Mandalorian.
Right.
I don't know if I got the city right or the place right with that, but
anyways, Obi-Wan's detachment of clones of 212th is not an actual full clone battalion. they are considered like more of a special forces group of clones, whereas Anakin's 501st is like a full-on plain old clone battalion, right? And so maybe that has something to do with it, with Obi-Wan's being more special forces based than Anakin, so that's why they have this kind of like special armor for the planet, whereas Anakin's are just like your generic clones of a plain old clone battalion, so they just have the plain old Phase 1 armor. Maybe that's it, but I don't think we really get a reason why they've got the different armor.
I see.
And again, Ki Adi Mundi's, they've still got the helmet of their normal Galactic Marine armor, or clone armor that we see in like Episode 3, but it is, again, kind of like an off branch of... I just found that weird. I don't know. I kind of rambled there for a little bit, but...
That's fine. What's next?
The stuff I noticed.
So the battle continues, though. Obi-Wan plans to hold their position and hope for Ki Adi and Anakin's arrival. Admiral Yularen and a group kind of look over that, I think, up that planet. I don't think they're down in the atmosphere, but they look over and determine that Anakin is near a barrier, which he comments saying it is a fortress.
Yeah, and so I do think they are in atmosphere, because I think it would make more sense for them to be in atmosphere because Admiral Yularen is kind of coordinating the airstrikes that they're running. Because one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is this is not just a battle in this one spot that we get to see on screen. This is a full planetary invasion, and we get that from Admiral Yularen because he comments, I think either Obi-Wan or Anakin at this point calls up like, "Hey, we need air support." And he makes a comment of like, we're already stretched too thin with assisting other parts of the invasion. So like, this is a full planetary invasion. We're just watching one aspect of it. And with Obi-Wan as well, we do see at this point they positioned ATTEs and LAT gunships in a circle where they've crash landed. And they're not even trying to advance. They are simply trying to hold the ground where they're at. They're kind of in that much of a situation. They can't pull back because they're getting hit from all sides. They can't push forward because they've got too many injured. And they're just kind of stuck. And so, like you said, like Obi-Wan makes a comment, like they have to wait. They don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And we see that they've set up like gun emplacements within the gunships that are on the ground. They've got, their gunners up in the big guns on the ATTEs. Brain fart there. Holy crap. And all around them we see downed gunships. Like I paused at this one spot as I kind of talked about this, and right here I can see 2 downed gunships just sitting there as well, with AAT on the droid side pushing in, explosions going off, blaster bolts flying. Like, Obi-Wan is definitely in the worst position you could possibly be in a battlefield. Like, he can't retreat. He can't push forward. He barely has enough clones with him to hold their position. And the fact that they hold it for so long, as we'll see in the episode, is very impressive. Because they're not just fighting battle droids that are stupid and follow their programming. They're fighting Geonosians that can think and have, like, this hive mind mentality, so they can act as one without even having to talk to each other. So just the fact that they hold for as long as they do is impressive.
Yeah. So we cut over to Anakin, who is at the base of that fortress and taking fire from droids on top. There's a bit of cutting back and forth between him and Ki Adi quite a bit.
Yeah. So, sorry, one quick correction on myself. I said Anakin or Obi-Wan talking to Admiral Yularen for air support. It's actually Ki Adi Mundi. It's his clone commander. I think it's Commander Bakara. If that sounds right.
I don't know.
Is contacting Admiral Yularen. No, Jacob. That's a whole different show, buddy. Whole different show.
Is it? Was there actually a show with that? That was a show as well.
Yeah,
I remember
you had
him being those little
like
battle things, But
there was a whole show about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yes, I just wanted to correct myself on that. It's actually Commander Bakara with Ki Adi Mundi contacting Admiral Yularen, where we get the comment from Admiral Yularen that they cannot assist, and he actually says it would mean sacrificing other areas of the campaign.
Gotcha.
Again, implying that this is a whole planet-wide thing. Yeah.
I feel really weird calling him Ki Adi, but that's his name. You know? What would you refer
it's
to
Commander
him as?
Jet. It's Commander Jet, not even Bakara. That's weird.
Oh.
I don't know where I got Bakara
Nice
from.
one.
Anyway, I think the easiest way to refer to him, unless you're going to do the full Ki Adi Mundi, is just like General Mundi, because we hear him called that a couple different times throughout the show.
I like that. I like the sound of that a little better. I keep feeling weird. Like, I don't know. Anyway, we see him. We see Traffic Cone Head moving ahead into a different area.
His name, though, like Ki Adi Mundi. Yeah. It's got like the hyphens in there, like Obi-Wan's do. Like we see like Satine or later on in the show call him like Obi.
Yeah, but
like
you never
Jar Jar
hear
calls him Obi in the movies, and I think in the show as well. But it's like that's the only two people that you hear call him Obi.
Yeah,
and so it's weird. Like it's weird saying just Obi instead of Obi-Wan. It's got the little hyphen in there between Obi and Wan.
I'm not going to be calling General Mundi Ki either.
Right.
That
You're
not
going to call him Ki or Adi. Like that's just weird. Like even just Ki Adi sounds weird. Like it's either been Ki Adi Mundi, right, or General Mundi.
I still like Conehead.
Of course you do.
I'm gonna call him Conehead.
It just reminds me of that movie. What's that movie? Is that called Conehead?
I think it's called Conehead. It's got Dan Aykroyd in it. It's like
Ki Adi Mundi
kinda,
might as well be like the main character of that movie.
I think he was, yeah.
Distant relation to the Coneheads. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we see Conehead moving ahead and going into a different area.
Yeah, we see
and
him
they enter
through those barricades. Those big old, which are basically like the Star Wars version of what were called hedgehogs that were seen in World War II in the Pacific Theater. So that's basically like the Marines pushing for like fighting Japan and whatnot.
Okay.
With their amphibious landings, they would put hedgehogs, is what they called them, in the water leading up to the beaches. And basically it's like this metal contraption they would put in the water. And so as gunboats are pushing through to try and land, they'd run into these hedgehogs, and it would either stop the gunboats or the landing boats in their place, or it would stop them and puncture a hole, filling them with water. So Marines would have to like jump over the sides and try and swim ashore and get mowed down by like machine gun nests. And we see that in Saving Private Ryan as well. All those like metal barricades they have set up on the beaches there in the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, those are hedgehogs.
But
so these big old metal contraptions are basically Star Wars version of the hedgehogs, because it just stops
the heavier machinery,
it stops
the heavier vehicles.
Yeah, it stops your ATTEs. It stops your different walkers that the Republic has from being able to move through. And as we see in this, we see Ki Adi Mundi with his lightsaber just cutting through them to clear a path. Yeah, clear a path for the few tanks he has left.
But they end up entering like a cave, a cave, not like a cave. It was a cave, and they get attacked by Geonosians. Meanwhile, Anakin and Ahsoka plan on climbing up the fortress and then bringing it down, so they grapple up it.
And as we see Anakin and Ahsoka as well, like, I don't know how many troops Anakin starts with, right? But at this point, we see he has, like, maybe a dozen left.
Yeah, he does not really have very many.
Like, and granted, in other episodes and stuff, in like the Clone Wars movie, right, the animated movie that they released where we get introduced to Ahsoka, when we see Anakin in command of some of his clones, he has, like, 5 of them, which, again, is very weird. I don't know if he just allocates the rest to Obi-Wan to hold the line in that movie or what. But often we see Anakin with hardly any clones.
Yeah.
Like, I think the most clones we see him with is, like, the Umbara arc that we'll see later on in the show, where it's purely about his battalion, right? So, like, all of those clones fall under Anakin. But, like, other than that one, I can't think of a time where we see Anakin with more than, like, a dozen, maybe 2 dozen clones. He just never has very many. And I don't know if that means he just loses so many or if he just doesn't get very many to start with. But, like, I just hope it's the latter, because if it's the former, like, dude, You gotta change something, dog. You're losing way too many guys.
Yeah.
And granted, we do see very often in this show, regardless of what Jedi we're following or what clones we're following, like, there's those random unnamed clones that in the initial attack, they just get hit and just die, right? But, like, Anakin just seems to never have very many.
Yeah. But we see Conehead and his group still fighting off the bugs.
Yeah, because they take this cave to try and get over to Anakin's position,
right.
correct? Yeah, so basically they're looking for a shortcut to get over to reinforce Anakin.
Yeah,
is basically what they're doing when they run into essentially this ambush in these caves, which kind of confuses me. Number one, I can see the upside to taking this shortcut. Like, they got to get over there to reinforce Anakin, help him out, meet up, consolidate their forces.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Ki Adi Mundi's been here before. He's been to Geonosis before. So why are they caught so surprised in the caves?
I don't know.
Like you know what I mean? Like,
kind of, yeah.
They because in comics and stuff like that as well. In the comics, you're first introduced to General Grievous on Geonosis. General Grievous is actually on Geonosis during the Attack of the Clones movie. We just don't see him in the movie, because that's where he gets all of his cybernetics and whatnot. And there's a story where he kills like a bunch of Jedi that go into the caves of Geonosis to track down Geonosian leadership. And it's like, in order for us to get that story, some Jedi had to make it out, or someone had to have at least known it happened, whether it be over comms or what have you. Like, it's like, and it's not just General Grievous fighting, like, Geonosians are fighting them in the caves and all this kind of other stuff. So it's like, Ki Adi Mundi should have access to this information, but somehow they're caught surprised.
I don't know.
Going into these caves and whatnot on Geonosis, where there's a hive mind that lives underground in basically a honeycomb nests, basically like ants, and somehow they're surprised that they get attacked in there. Leading to my overall opinion of Ki Adi Mundi being the worst Jedi in the Jedi histories that I know. He does
kind of seem derpy.
Right. Whereas, like, yes, Anakin has his faults. He falls to the dark side and all of that. But while he's a Jedi, well, no, that's a whole nother thing. I could go on about that. We'll save that for another time.
Okay. I'm just saying he's decent.
But yeah, but like during Anakin's time as a Jedi, even though he falls to the dark side, he's still a good Jedi. He goes against the code here and there, but that's neither here nor there. But like,
don't know if
when it comes to Jedi, but
he's a good general.
He is a good Jedi general, but
I don't know.
When he's doing Jedi things, he's a good Jedi.
He's effective.
Yes, and so, but like, Ki Adi Mundi is this Jedi master. He should have all of this knowledge. Like more knowledge than Anakin or any Jedi Knight. And I've pointed this out before, but time and time again we see him making the wrong calls. And at some point it stops being just making a bad call, and it starts being just someone that doesn't know what they're doing. Because like there's a difference between making a bad call and always being wrong.
True.
And time again, as we will see in the Clone Wars and as we see in like episode 3, Ki Adi Mundi consistently makes the wrong calls. And in my opinion, going into the caves is a wrong call.
Yeah. I was thinking, he's got a heart in the top of his head. That's his anatomy.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out where I learned that. And then I remembered I had this sitting next to me. It's a Revenge of the Sith visual dictionary. That is all.
But
anyway.
Yeah, again, I kind of went off there. But yeah, Ki Adi Mundi, in my opinion, worst Jedi
Mhm.
At the very least, worst Jedi in this era of Star Wars. There might be worse in like the High Republic era, right? I don't know too much. I don't know hardly anything about the High Republic era.
Okay,
and then there's like
sidestep.
the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Even compared to the Jedi in the Old Republic, Ki Adi Mundi, in my opinion, is the worst Jedi that I know of.
Okay, sidestep. Tales of the Jedi is coming up. I want to see what Yaddle even is. We're going to see a bit of her. We're going to see Yaddle. Part of me feels like she might get murked by Count Dooku, but I don't know.
We still don't have a confirmed death for Yaddle either.
Yeah.
There is a scene in the Clone Wars TV show. It's in season 6.
Grogu's mom.
But there's a scene in season 6 where we get a little implication that Yaddle is dead at that, or will die. Not dead at that point because it's still part of the Clone Wars. That she will die. But we don't have a confirmed death of Yaddle.
Did we see Yaddle at all in the Clone Wars?
We see her in one scene, I believe, in season 6, and it's the episode where we see some visions happening.
Gotcha.
I don't want to give too much. I don't want to give too much because we've got more. We'll cover that episode when we get to it. But
let's cover this episode.
Yeah.
So.
But yes, Ki Adi Mundi, terrible general.
Okay, back to Anakin and Ahsoka keeping count. They're keeping count of the droids they kill, whatever.
Yeah,
we cut over to
we get the typical banter between the two as well. Like Anakin's like, "Oh, you're falling behind. Oh, right behind you, Master." You know, the typical banter of Anakin and Ahsoka as they're fighting a war.
Yep.
You know, life and death. The clone troopers dying around them, and they're just laughing and joking.
Yep. Well, that's what I did when my school was like.
Oh, I finally got to that point, did you?
Yeah, it wasn't even mine.
No. We cut back to Obi-Wan.
Yes.
In his desperate
They're
situation.
taking fire.
Yeah.
Back over to Anakin.
And
Ahsoka.
again, as it goes to Obi-Wan, it's a quick little scene, but it kind of does that zoom out where we see them in their circle defense, and we just see like Geonosians closing around from all sides.
Yes,
with some like
they are
droid
taking
tanks
fire.
in there. They are getting royally effed up.
Okay. Anakin and Ahsoka clear out the top of the fortress, but are attacked by droidicas. Rex joins them up top and assassinates one of the droidicas, like very slow moving, puts his pistol inside of the shield and just,
And I remember making this comment last time we covered this episode.
Yeah.
And I just hit that point again, where the droidicas come up from inside this defensive position.
Yep.
And Anakin and Ahsoka are on either side of each other.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of Anakin, because Anakin is facing the droid that he ends up blocking and whatnot and holding off, Ahsoka's facing that droid as well, but in between Anakin and that droid. So instead of Anakin just turning around, we see Ahsoka turn around, run and slide under him, and Anakin jump to engage this one droidica. Instead of Ahsoka just taking that one, and Anakin just turned... Like, they did this little, like, parkour move that was not needed. Yes, there was two droidicas.
And they did this weird, like, switch that they could have
they did this weird, like, parkour switch thing instead of Anakin just simply turning around.
But, Evan, if they did that, would it have looked cool? Like, if anything, we know from Star Wars shows, they want to look cool. Remember the spinny dude from Book of Boba Fett? Zero tactical purpose.
But it looked cool.
And
the
in
cool
that case,
factor,
it didn't even look cool. But in this one, it looks cool.
They got to go for that cool factor. You're right. My
Yes.
bad. I'll stop
Star
complaining
Wars, you
about
entertain kids.
I'll stop complaining about the tactical advantages and the realisticness of Anakin just turning around and let's just go for the
Realism,
cool factor.
but whatever. Anyway, okay. But they place explosives at the top and jump off. And they like basically toss Rex off, and then when they get down, catch him with the Force.
My question though is how did Rex get up there?
My assumption is that he just grappled.
Because the last time we see Rex before he does that slow little thing into the droidica's, shield and pow kills it,
Mm-hmm.
He's on the ground shooting at the turrets of the fortress.
Yeah, my guess is he probably grappled up there.
So, like, how did Rex get up there so fast when it took Anakin and Ahsoka a quick little minute to get up there? Okay, whatever. Cool factor. Moving on.
Anyway. Yeah, so they place explosives on the top, jump off, whatever. Conehead's group's still fighting off the Geonosians, and he emerges to see a landing zone, that the one that they were trying to reach.
Yeah,
and it just does not look good.
And as that happens as well, like right before that, we see Ki Adi Mundi order his clone troopers to commit a war crime. They full-blown commit a war crime, which is using flamethrowers on living creatures.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. After World War II, the whole Geneva Convention, all that lovely stuff, that became a war crime.
That's not in Star Wars.
So here's the thing, and I've heard an argument for this, right? Star Wars is advanced civilizations on galactic scales, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on our little planet Earth, we had a World War II, and we had this thing called the Geneva Convention, and within that, it deemed certain acts as war crimes, hence flamethrowers, pyrotechnics, different fire-based things on people is a no-go. Torturing prisoners is a no-go. Killing someone after they've surrendered or are no longer considered a combatant is a no-go. This is advanced civilizations waging war on galactic scales. So for someone to say that no sort of Geneva Convention-based thing has happened within the Star Wars universe, I think you are just being naive.
But it would be assuming that it has occurred.
I just refuse to believe.
I like the idea of Conehead burning people, so I'm fine.
I just refuse to believe that there is no Geneva Convention-based thing within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
These civilizations are too advanced. Too many wars have happened, especially after the Jedi-Sith War, where atrocities happen. Because we know how the Sith are.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe there's no Geneva Convention-based contract or documentation, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe there's nothing like that in place in the Star Wars universe. And the Separatists and the Republic and the Rebellion and the Empire, the Resistance, the First Order, break that over and 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 over again.
So, shut up. It's too much.
And I follow this lady on TikTok who is very big into Star Wars, who has several videos over it, where she goes to key points in the different episodes of just the Clone Wars, right, of war crimes being committed. And even if it's not the same thing as the Geneva Convention, I have to believe that these people would agree that, like, torturing prisoners is not a good thing. Killing non-combatants, as we see on the Jedi side, they're like, we got to be careful of the civilians, right? At least they take that into account. The Separatists just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but like, there's got to be something.
Okay.
And now that I've seen those videos,
point into the ground.
I will drill it. I will drill it through the ground. Damn it!
I'm gonna mute you and just keep narrating. How about that? I'll just complete the episode on my own.
And then I'll just be talking on my side. I'll send you the audio, and we'll just be talking over each other.
Well, I edit it, so I'll just cut it off at that point. Anyway,
rude.
So Anakin calls Admiral Yularen asking for reinforcements, and they come in basically saving the day.
Real quick, cool factor.
I'm gonna kill myself.
There's a cool factor here.
Oh,
because
cool factor.
There's the cool factor with this is again the whole war crime thing, but we see Ki Adi Mundi with his flamethrowers and whatnot, and as they come out of the caves, right before we see them, we see Geonosians come flying out on fire.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
And this is a kids show, and they are on fire, screeching, burning alive.
That's great. Well,
and
anyway,
so that's another thing, like, people that say this is a kids show, we have stuff like this happening. This is really a kids show. Just because they don't show blood does not make it a kids show. We see creatures on fire flying around screeching in pain. Cool factor. Let's go. Freaking dark crap happening.
So they regroup and form a new plan, taking out the sensor array that would allow them to target like Republic tanks.
Yeah, it's basically for those big old Geonosian guns that we see. They do like the blah, 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 blah thing when they shoot. It's so weird. It's a weird noise. That's the weirdest noise I can think of. Freaking Zoidberg from Futurama. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was piecing it together. That's what it sounded like, but I was trying to figure out what it was.
But again, like the Geonosians have these big old. I don't know if they're ion cannons specifically. I don't know what kind of cannons they are, but they're big old stationary cannons.
Yeah.
Right. Essentially, like early versions of those big old cannons we see in Episode 5, the Battle of Hoth, that the Rebellion uses. Like older versions of those, Geonosian style, and they use this sensor array to help with their targeting systems and whatnot. And basically, that is their goal. Take that out, get rid of those big guns, so the tanks can move in and just destroy the facility.
Yep. So Anakin and his group run in, throw some EMP grenades at them, jamming the scanners long enough for the tanks to take out the shield generator. Everyone else comes in and lands. Geonosians are taken captive. Mission success, at least so far.
And as well, right before all this kicks off, we get that one last shot of Obi-Wan's position, right? Of them again, still surrounded. Obi-Wan's covered in dirt. We can see a couple like cut marks that look more like scars. Again, because they don't want to show blood and all that stuff for kids. And it's like they're like 2 seconds from being overrun before that big old airstrike comes in to save the day, right before they kind of kick off their plan. As well, this is another instance where Anakin kind of gets like the short straw, or draws the short straw of the bunch. Which, granted, he probably, like, volunteered for it. But again, Anakin is making the run, charging headfirst into danger, leading his troopers to the slaughter. and again, I mean, we see it time and time again where Anakin just volunteers for the suicide missions. And truthfully, I think between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ki Adi Mundi, the three generals they have here, I don't think Ki Adi Mundi could have pulled it off. We only get a short glimpse of their charge, right? So we don't really get a whole lot of context of what all goes down. But I don't think Ki Adi Mundi could have pulled it off. I think Obi-Wan would have had a chance of pulling it off. But I think Anakin really is the only Jedi at this moment that we're watching that could have pulled it off so successfully. Because again, Anakin's all about those reckless suicide missions, and somehow pulls them off. And which I don't think a lot of people really think about, because we're just used to Anakin doing crazy stuff. It's just kind of like that whole if you see war over and over, you kind of become numb to it, or you whatever. You're a police officer and you see crime, you eventually there's a good chance you just kind of become numb to it. We're just used to or kind of numb to Anakin doing these crazy things, so it's just kind of natural. But truthfully, anyone else, I don't think pulls this off, because they're charging forward like a dozen of them, right? A dozen clones, Anakin and Ahsoka, charging against a heavily fortified, dug-in position, essentially a D-Day scenario, with only 12, 15 of them, maybe.
Yeah. So, but anyway, they meet up, after the mission kind of success type deal. Ahsoka and Anakin come in and share their totals. Ahsoka asks him, Anakin says he got 55. She says her total was 60. But then he says because he called in an airstrike, that they're tied. Something.
And I commented on this last time as well.
Yeah.
Because when someone calls in an airstrike, at least in our modern day military for the United States, the person that calls in the airstrike gets the kills, not the pilot flying the plane.
Yeah.
Or piloting the helicopter. So really, Anakin should have like probably 200 or 300 kills at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should be probably a lot more.
Yeah, so the fact that he just says tie is just which is this is a rare occurrence, is Anakin being modest.
Yeah, but
because
Obi-Wan,
we know that Anakin is anything but modest.
So Anakin, or no, Obi-Wan says that he can never understand how they simplify the battles into some kind of game, because they like, yeah, he says something like that, and then Conehead goes 65. That was my count.
Yeah,
And he asks what he wins, and the Anakin says his everlasting respect, and Obi-Wan makes some comment like, "Well, that's a rare gift," or something.
Yeah, like that's What's he say? I'm literally right here in the episode.
Yeah,
that is a gift Anakin rarely bestows, I assure you, because Ki Adi Mundi looks a little down about it. He's like, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah.
Which, if we really think about that, his reaction to Anakin's "my everlasting respect," oh, that's it? The dude. like this is the chosen one. This is a dude that is so good as at this point, like 21-year-old, maybe, that he is better than 99% of the Jedi Order. Like, I would argue the only Jedi that are better than him is Yoda, Mace Windu, and Plo Koon. I would say Obi-Wan's on his level.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is the end of that episode.
Yeah.
That's how that one ends. It was kind of a action-packed one. I mean, we took quite a while covering that one, but I mean, there's a lot going on. You know, Anakin doing some weird, like, you know, jumping up the fortress type of thing. They're doing a lot of activities in the air, which kind of leads us into our sponsor for this episode. Let me get it unmuted so Evan can hear it. But this is our sponsor for the episode. This episode is brought to you by Anakin's Aerial Activities. Combining the fun of rock climbing, skydiving, and parkour, come on down to the former fortress of Geonosis today to get your lessons. We're not liable for any injuries, and you are liable for any property damage taking place as a result of your session. Anyway.
Nice.
All right. Coming back, we have episode 6. It's called Weapons Factory.
Yep.
We get a quote.
So the quick brief description here that it gives on the Disney Plus says Luminara and Anakin act as decoys to divert enemy super tanks. And our quote for the episode is, if it would not jump past it, no gift is more precious than trust. And then we have our narration.
Yep, we get our narration that kind of sets the scene. Says, the final surge. Having learned of Warlord Poggle the Lesser's plot to rebuild a separatist droid foundry on Geonosis, Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and his Padawan Ahsoka Tano. Wait, sorry. Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and his Padawan Ahsoka Tano. Because he always says it like with that drawn out, like, you know, at the end. Anyway. Prepared to assault this heavily fortified installation. Their mission, destroy the factory at all costs, anticipating stiff resistance. The Republic commanders send Jedi Master Luminara Unduli and her Padawan Barriss Offee to reinforce the attack.
So,
but time runs short for our intrepid heroes as the dreaded droid mill nears completion. Yes.
During the narration, when it says they're facing stiff resistance, the clip that it shows is the clip of Ki Adi Mundi's flame troopers burning Geonosians alive.
But anyway. So, we open scene and we see Master Luminara and Barriss enter in.
Along with Commander Gree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Commander Gree doesn't get a whole lot of credit. For those that don't know who that is, that's one of the clones that Yoda cuts the head off of in Episode 3.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, one of those two clones that he backflips and cuts their heads off. One of them is General Gree, because or Commander Gree, sorry, because Luminara is on Kashyyyk. When everything goes down, she's in one of those big old Juggernaut vehicles with like the 8 wheels.
Oh.
Or 10 wheels, whatever it is. And so is oh gosh, which Jedi is it? No, maybe it is Luminara there. I'm thinking. No, sorry, Luminara is there. At one point, she's in one of those as a command position, but when Order 66 goes down, she's in a tent. I believe it's Luminara in a tent healing a clone trooper with Force Heal. Order 66 goes down. She gets gunned from behind as she's healing a clone.
Where is that shown?
That's in the Revenge of the Sith book, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I believe it talks about it there. It's either that or it's in a comic.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, we pan over to Anakin and Ahsoka briefing everyone. Anakin interrupts her to kind of take over himself.
Yeah, this is supposed to be Ahsoka's briefing.
Yeah,
Anakin just keeps jumping in and like cutting her off. And
yeah,
it's kind of like I do to Jacob. You know, he's like trying to go through it, and I'm just jumping in there and just freaking nope, shut up. You know, I'm talking now. You be quiet. Whereas I just kind of jump in. Anakin's like stepping in front of her and just like kind of pushing her to the side. And
yeah. Well, anyway.
Luminara, I love Ahsoka's reaction too. She just like looks at him.
I hate you. I don't know if you were trying to do that or if it just naturally happened, but screw you.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, like, I love Ahsoka's reaction to this because she just looks at this dude like, this motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what I'm reacting to you.
Remember when we didn't do voice or video call over this, and it just happens so much more often than it does now, which is saying something?
Are you sure? Are you really sure? I was thinking this when we were covering episode 5 here. I was literally sitting here, I'm like, we started voice chat so we could look at each other and see when the other is gonna start talking so that we don't interrupt each other. Meanwhile, I think you're just like, is he about to talk? Okay, now I'll say what I want.
No, the problem is you'll be talking, but you're looking at your notes. You're not looking at the voice call, so you're looking at your notes, so you don't realize I'm about to go say something in between. Like when you go to pause, you don't realize I'm about to say something because you're like, all right, what's the next line? There's the next line. This is what it says. Because it's the notes thing that I think is what's happening. Which, I mean, fair enough. You've got your notes so you can, that's how you track everything and whatnot, but...
I'm bringing it over to this screen.
I think that's what's happening.
It might be.
Because, like, I wait and I see, like, all right, he's taking a breath here, so a little comment in there about something, or, like, all right, I can tell that he's between lines. He's going from this line to the next scene, and I have something on the scene, so I'll interject real quick.
Okay.
But then, again, you're on your notes, so you...
I have my notes now pulled up on the same screen that you are. I'm going to see if I can... I can't do anything else. So that's the... Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Yes. I have you. So.
Maybe that'll help?
Maybe.
Because I'll do this thing too where I'll be like this, and then you just keep going. I'm like, he totally doesn't see me. Like, 1 second.
Okay. Well... Luminara and Barriss approach Anakin and Ahsoka, who are now arguing. Mm-hmm. Introductions are made. We see clones loading up the injured, and Luminara and the group make a plan to place bombs under the palace type thing. It's got a bunch of tunnels underneath, and they're going to place bombs there and blow it up. Barriss
I noticed as well.
Yeah.
That Anakin's got some of Ki Adi Mundi's troopers with him. They they get I'm assuming just assigned to Anakin. Like they've got like that trooper armor that Ki Adi Mundi's dudes had in the last episode. Because it's literally all troopers in that armor, and then one single clone trooper in normal Phase 1 armor. The rest have Ki Adi Mundi's troopers armor on. Like, did Anakin just lose that many guys? Jeez. He's got one left besides Rex. Because then Luminara shows up and she's got her troopers with like the green markings and stuff on their armor. But like I just realized Anakin's got like one dude left besides Rex. That's Soul Clone Troopers. Sorry, buddy, you're not making it.
But apparently Barriss has memorized all 200 junctions of the tunnels underneath this palace thing. Factory, right? It is a factory.
It's a factory built on top of like one of their honeycomb,
right?
Or like basically like ant colony things that the Geonosians have.
Yeah.
And one thing I like here that we get to see is the comparison
because he's the only man.
Yes.
Well, no,
the only one in his place.
I'm saying you like men.
Anyways, no, I like the comparison of master and apprentice that we get here between Luminara and Barriss and Anakin and Ahsoka.
Because we see the differences.
Yeah, we see Anakin and Ahsoka, and as we've seen them the whole time, and as we see them throughout the whole of the Clone Wars, they are very much back and forth, bantering, joking with each other, arguing. They're more brother and sister, whereas Barriss and Luminara are very much master and apprentice.
Yeah, it's like teacher and student kind of thing.
Yeah, they're not even like mother and daughter. They're like master and apprentice, teacher and student. Barriss is very respectful. She heeds Luminara's wisdom with the utmost respect. She's always prepared, follows through with her orders very crispy, very pristinely. Whereas Ahsoka, very much like Anakin, is kind of this loose cannon that, yes, she has her mission, but at the end of the day, as long as the mission gets done, she really doesn't care how it gets done, at least early on, which is very much an Anakin thing to do. Yeah. And so I really like the comparison or the lack of comparison that we have here between master and apprentice in these two different groups. And I just have to imagine that their clones, we would probably, if we saw their clones interacting with each other, there would be that stark difference as well. I'm guessing if we had a Commander Gree and a Captain Rex interacting with each other, off of the battlefield where, things are serious, so like command structure, all that stuff. But I can imagine the two of them approaching things very differently, having different plans for the same goal, all this kind of stuff based on the leadership that they have. I can definitely see Rex being maybe not so much the loose cannon, because Rex is very much the voice of reason for Anakin. Whereas it's like Rex and Obi-Wan are the voice of reason for Anakin. They're like, whoa there, bud. Let's back it up a quick second. But
yeah,
to a certain degree, leadership definitely rubs off on those under their command. So Rex would definitely be, I would say, much more quick to go off plan. Whereas I could definitely see Commander Gree, because he falls under Luminara, sticking to the plan, sticking to the I's and the T's, making sure they're dotted and crossed, like very by the book.
Yeah.
Because of their leadership. And that all, again, just comes back to I like the difference we see here, because we really don't get to see a very opposite of Anakin and Ahsoka when it comes to Master and Apprentice.
Yeah.
In the movie,
honestly, I don't remember seeing much.
Yeah, even in the Clone Wars, we don't really. The only other apprentice we really see is Barriss.
Yeah.
Besides Ahsoka.
Right.
There's a couple of those episodes where we see some of the younglings, and like those are about to become Padawans, but they don't have their own individual master. They're all just under Yoda.
Right.
And so I do like that they threw in kind of like, we have our dynamic duo, Anakin and Ahsoka, but we also have our very by the book duo, Luminara and Barriss.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
Yeah, I think it really turns out well in the end. So that was foreshadowing a little bit, or a reference to later on what happens Evan.
Yeah.
Turned out great.
Yeah,
Turned
very
out
much
real
so.
great.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Luminara and Anakin are going to cause a distraction to Poggle so that Ahsoka and Barriss can plant the bombs underneath, and they can go through their plan. So Barriss and Ahsoka take off, and they begin approaching the factory.
Yeah.
Anakin and Luminara take their troops out in the open to kind of tempt the droids. Meanwhile, Ahsoka and Barriss climb down below.
Yeah, and like it's even stated as well within the episode that Anakin and Luminara with their troopers are not just in the open. They're like in the open with no cover around. They need to be like very tempting bait. Like
Yeah.
basically they need to act like they've been caught with their pants down to really pull as many droids out as possible.
Yeah.
Pull as many out as you can. That way Ahsoka and Barriss don't have to deal with them. They can sneak in undetected, all that fun stuff. So like, again, with Anakin's typical actions, suicide mission. As I stated for the last episode. Suicide mission.
So Anakin and Luminara fight off droids while there's an intelligence droid that says they've fallen into a trap and secondary attacks are then made. Meanwhile, down below, Barriss cuts through the wall, entering into the tunnels. So they both go in there.
I saw a thing with this as well. I thought it was kind of strange, but the more I think about it, it kind of makes a little more sense, especially with what's to come. Whenever we see a Jedi cut a hole through a door or a wall or what have you, it's always in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
But Barriss's, when she just cuts a square, which doesn't seem like anything on the surface, but with what happens later on, cough, cough, fall of a Jedi, it's kind of like they're intentionally early on trying to show Barriss doing just something as simple as cutting through a wall different than every other Jedi we've seen.
Maybe. It almost seems like the sort of thing where it's just overanalyzing it, But at the same time, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as the episode first comes out, I would definitely say it'd be like an over analysis, but like with the whole show being out and us knowing what's to come, it's, at least in my opinion, it's kind of like foreshadowing a little bit.
It could
type of like, she's not your average Jedi.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they navigate their way through, seeing some Geonosians along the way. They find themselves in a tunnel with a bunch of Geonosians that are sleeping. It's like the whole hive. And we cut over from that to Anakin and Luminara fighting, and still hoping that Barriss and Ahsoka are not lost down there.
Yeah. And as we see them fighting as well, we get some shots of the different clone troopers and whatnot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as we see, they are out in the open. They're pushing forward to even more open ground. They're fighting battle droids as well as Geonosians just buzzing around all over the place, So he's Anakin and Luminara have effectively gotten themselves surrounded again.
Yeah. We see Ahsoka doubting Barriss as she navigates. They jump through a hole, and we see a Geonosian shortly behind them. One of them woke up.
Because they basically came to a dead end, and they're like, oh, shoot, where do we go? And then Barriss is like, oh, look, a hole above us. That's where we go.
Yeah. Poggle's intelligence droid asks to use a secret weapon, which are super tanks. They roll out.
I'm drawing a blank on their because they have we have like the AAT and
they got
ATTE
a name
and what they've got a name, so I can't remember what they are. But really, that's not important because this is the only episode we see them in.
Yeah.
So.
But
which doesn't make any sense because if you think about it, if they've got this super tank that's supposed to be OP. Like the best thing that cannot be beaten type of deal. Like, wouldn't they share that with other factories?
You'd think so.
At least the plans to make them. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's another one of those kind of like oversights that kind of happened with the show. They did it for this one episode as kind of like this big threat that needs to be taken out, and just kind of forgot about him after that.
Yeah.
But
Ahsoka and
we
Barriss
do see
reach the droid factory and seek the control room.
Yeah.
That's just what happens next, but we can backtrack to whatever you were going to mention.
We do see, as those super tanks are coming out onto the bridge, we do see artillery getting ready to fire on them right before it jumps to Ahsoka and Barriss. And I'll just say this, that way I don't do it once we get there. Because it jumps quickly back over to him, and we see the artillery fire on these tanks, and they do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, nothing at all. And like, we've seen instances, especially back in the Clone Wars movie, where, like, this artillery is, like, destroying AATs and kind of like their spider walkers and their, what are they called? It's those, like, three-legged walkers that we see in the Clone Wars movie. They're, like, octawalkers or something weird like that. You know, and Anakin kind of makes a comment of them having, like, they've got to be ray shielded, so like our artillery can't punch through. But like, for a tank to have ray shields, which is what we see on like Republic and Separatist cruisers and like Imperial cruisers and like their big ol' like Jedi cruisers and Imperial destroyers and whatnot, like for a tank to have that type of like shielding is insane, because there's going to be no ground forces or ground guns that's going to be able to take that out.
Yeah. Yeah, Ahsoka and Barriss are in the control room and run over to place the explosives. Meanwhile, the Geonosian that was following them informs Poggle of this, and then he shows up in the control room. Ahsoka and Barriss are attacked, and the bombs are collected. The intelligence droid he's down there now, gets blown up when Ahsoka tries to like blow up the tank, because she throws an explosive on one of those tanks, and the intelligence droid is like right next to it, and he's like, your weapons are, not going to do anything to this new super tank, but he's standing right next to it, so he's just completely unaware, and it blows him up.
Yeah, and we see the Geonosians grabbing all the different explosives off of the generator as this is going on as well. But as you said, that they throw a little one on the explosive on the tank, and it blows up and just destroys the intelligence droid.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's so smart, are you? Huh? Wow. We do also see, as it cuts back to Luminar and Anakin, we see the super tanks kind of open up with their missile barrels that they have, and they fire, and they just, like, their barrage of missiles just destroy like 4 or 5 ATTEs. Like they're nothing. Yeah. Which is, again, saying something, because like ATTEs are like, at this time, this day and age in Star Wars, they are like kind of like the pinnacle, the peak of like heavy armor within the galaxy. It's like you put an ATTE against an AAT from the Separatist side, ATTE wins every time. Like without it wins every time. And so the fact that the droids have come up with this tank that just obliterates them like they're nothing is a big deal.
Yeah. But Anakin commands Rex to turn the men back and try to get the tanks out on the bridge. Meanwhile, Ahsoka and Barriss try to get their bombs back, but the Geonosians escape. Cut over again. The tanks that are on the bridge, they're up there, and Anakin and Luminara place bombs underneath, eventually detonating them and destroying the tanks as they fall into the chasm.
Yeah, and as this is happening as well, we do see clones pulling back. Again, because their artillery did nothing, so their blasters are going to do nothing as well as their rockets and whatnot. And so it's basically like, hey, you guys fall back, get to cover. We're gonna take care of this. And I just have to say as well, like the dexterity of Anakin and Luminara.
Yeah, as they're like monkey climbing underneath.
Yeah, like they're it's not even like they're on like the side of a cliff where they can use their legs to help support them. This is pure finger strength. And granted, Anakin has the one robotic arm, but like his other arm, which is not robotic, is like, what have they been doing with their hands? Like, geez, that's impressive. Yes, Jacob, that's exactly where I was going with that.
So Barris is down in the control room, cuts her way into the tank. Then Ahsoka gets in, and Ahsoka decides that they're going to have to destroy the generator with the tank while being inside because they no longer have their explosives.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, they don't know if they're going to make it. So Ahsoka tells Anakin over radio that that basically they can't make it out. They're gonna try to.
Yeah.
They'll complete it. They'll destroy it. They fire the tank.
Yeah, and as Anakin's trying to reach out for Ahsoka as well, more battle droids are still coming out of the factory.
Mm-hmm.
And because the Separatists make these cheap droids that are very easy to assemble, the only chance for a Republic victory here is for Ahsoka and Barriss to succeed.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're going to keep pumping out battle droid after battle droid until the clones eventually just fall from overwhelming numbers.
Right.
And so it's kind of this dire situation because Anakin cannot reach Ahsoka. And so they don't know what the progress is. They don't know how much longer they have to hold. And it's like, do we keep holding and trust in our Padawans, or do we fall back and try and save the lives of our men?
Yeah.
And as you said, Ahsoka lets them know, like, hey, we're not making it out of this one. They fire, blowing up the whole facility while they're still in the tank underneath it.
Yep. And Luminara senses... Oh, so they start, like, searching, because the whole thing collapses on top of them, on top of Barriss and Ahsoka. But Luminara senses that the Padawans are drifting away. Anakin orders the ships to dig through the rubble, because, they also have limited oxygen. They're down underground, and,
Yeah.
Well,
and Anakin tries reaching them on their comm system as well and is getting nothing.
Yeah.
Which I can only assume is because of all the rock and rubble and whatnot underneath.
Yeah.
Because if their comm system works anything like communications nowadays that we have, it's all about like radio waves bouncing off the atmosphere and off the ground. If you've got rock in between, it's got nothing to bounce off of. Or if anything, it just bounces back to you, so you get nothing.
Yeah.
And so, and like you said, Anakin orders Rex to get the heavy heavy equipment for like lifting gear and whatnot. As Ahsoka and Barriss are just trapped, basically using their lightsabers as a light source because it's pitch black.
Anakin and Luminara both have two different mindsets about their Padawans. We see, like, Luminara's more like, if it's her time, it's her time,
Right.
Whereas Anakin's
Again,
like, no, I am going to get her back.
Again, just going to show how different they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Luminara is very much, if it's time for her to go, it's time for her to go. Like, I have to trust in the Force. Anakin's like, nah, f*** that shit, man. I'm saving them. I ain't leaving her to die.
I'm doing everything in my power to prevent that.
As I see you right now, the time. My bad.
That's fine.
But Luminara does also state, though, that even if they do die, that's the difference between her and Anakin. She cares about her Padawan. She does very much, and she hopes she survives, but at the end of the day, Luminara is ready to let go. Like, she is not forming that attachment that Anakin has formed. And she says, I will mourn her passing, but I will also celebrate her life.
Yeah.
And Anakin's just like, well, I still plan on celebrating this victory with my Padawan. Like, just kind of as like kind of like a sassy retort too.
Yeah.
Which definitely, I think, points to the immaturity of Anakin. And because, yes, Luminara does care about her Padawan very deeply and whatnot, and she expresses that, but, like, she definitely acts not just more Jedi-like in terms of the codes and whatnot, but she acts more adult-like. Whereas Anakin's kind of like that teenager who's like, no, we're doing it. We're going to we're gonna find them. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make them safe. It's gonna be okay. Luminara is more like realistic about it. Like,
Yeah.
we need to learn to let go. We need to learn to not form that attachment. This, that, and the other.
Yeah. But down below, Ahsoka tinkers with something to send, basically use her radio, adjust it a bit, fix it so that it can send a weak signal to Anakin.
Yeah.
And kind of be like, we're here, find us right here.
Not quite Morse code, but like a similar type of like Morse code.
Yeah, just to be able to locate her. And the signal does go through. Anakin is able to then locate her. He orders ships to, it's like they unbury them.
Yeah, and right there at the end, there's like
them.
the last piece that needs to be lifted up, and they're like, nah, we ain't waiting. Force time, baby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But they pull them out. They're good. And that's pretty well the end of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah,
the
episode
went by
basically
a lot quicker than the previous one.
Yeah.
And I feel like this episode was primarily like action, too.
Mm-hmm.
Not like war action. Like there was some of that, but like there wasn't a ton of dialogue. I mean, there was, but nothing really too noteworthy,
But yeah, because our kind of like last scene is just like Ahsoka and Barriss being like, "Yeah, we did it. We're alive. Woohoo!"
Yeah, you'll betray me one day.
And it's right there at the end as well, where we get the comment from Luminara, where she says like, "Unlike you, Skywalker, I'm ready to let go of my Padawan." When he kind of makes the comment of like, "I told you they'd be alive. I told you we'd find them." She's like, "Nah, see, like I didn't give up hope, but like I'm ready to let go if the time comes."
Yeah.
Type of deal.
Yeah. But that's the end of that episode. That's the end of this podcast episode.
Yep.
If you stuck with us to the end, how you doing? Thanks for doing that.
So next time, as we cover Star Wars, we'll be covering season 2, episodes 7 and 8.
Yep.
Which continue the hunt for Pago the Lesser, the battle on Geonosis Part 2, for another 2 episodes, and that will kind of conclude the Geonosis arc of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Go leave a review. I don't know if you enjoyed this, wanted to, and you liked it. Like I said, if you enjoyed it, I kind of repeated myself there, but check out other episodes. Leave us a review on Apple or rate us on Spotify, whatever your listening platform is.
Yep. If you guys want to see a live stream coverage, leave those reviews on Apple Podcasts. Whenever we hit 25 reviews, we'll do a live coverage of whatever we're on at that point, whether it still be Clone Wars or whatever we go.
Yeah, whatever's up next, we will live stream that coverage of it.
Whenever we hit 25 reviews. On Apple,
whenever
I think we're still sitting at 10. So
yeah, yep.
And then every 1,000 downloads is the blooper reels. I'm
not
sure where we're at on that number.
I'm not either. I'll figure it out eventually. But regardless, I just broke my pen.
Yep. We do have that link in the description for the different platforms you can find us on, as well as the Your In-Depth email where you can send any questions that you might have. But truthfully, go ask those questions on Apple reviews so that we can get those numbers up.
Yeah, and if you go on Anchor, you can actually submit voice recordings to our podcast to where we could include them on an episode, given that they're appropriate.
If anybody goes and leaves a voice comment through that about Jar Jar being a good character, I'm deleting it instantly. It's not getting played.
I'd like to challenge you to do that because I edit the episodes. I'll include it. Anyway, that's it. But
if you include it, Jacob, I'm quitting the podcast.
Well, still got a YouTube channel.
Wow.
Deuces.